This conference will now be recorded.
So we discussed our role. We discussed our role in implementation project and the end user role, and we discussed developer role, and we discussed basis team role in the implementation. Now, the last activity of implementation project is what? Project handover or KT, knowledge transfer, or we also call it as a project transitions. Okay, project transition. So this is the last activity. So during this KT, now since we are discussing about AMS project, which is called application maintenance support, or we also call it as a support project, support and maintenance project. Okay, support and maintenance projects. Let's learn about this project, AMS project. So this is started first thing as soon as implementation is completed. As soon as implementation is completed. Okay, and the customer should have customer SAP system. Okay, the AMS support must be there as long as the customer use SAP. Okay, and the duration of this project is depending on what? Duration of this project. You are, let's say this Redis Lab is a customer and they signed up with a contract with a Techem. Assume Techem is a company, consulting company, which is sending the SAP consultants for supporting the Redis Lab server. So the duration of this contract, they generally on a minimum yearly basis. So let's say 1 year contract or a 2 years. Okay, this is the ideal times. 1 year or 2 year project, support and maintenance. So after this contract is completed, if the Redis lab is or happy with the support provided by this Techem, they extend this contract terms. Okay, 1 more year, 2 more years, like that. If they're not happy with the support provided by Techem, then they give this AMS project to somebody else, some other company. So that's why they keep this contract 1 year and 2 years, like that, the duration of this contract. This contract can be terminated anytime if the conditions, terms and conditions are not followed by both the parties. Now, since we are discussing about AMS, now we assume ourselves as a support consultant. When we discussed about implementation project, we assumed ourselves as an implementation consultant. Now we are discussing support and maintenance project. We assume ourselves as a support and maintenance consultant. So what is the role in implementation? What is your role in support and maintenance? Understand the difference between both. So these are the two projects. These are the two projects where you get a 95% of openings. You are hired as an implementation consultant by these consulting companies, or you are hired as a support and maintenance consultant, okay, by these consulting companies. Yeah, but you should understand your role clearly. Either you are going to be placed in a support and maintenance project or implementation project. During the interview, they might communicate this to you, okay, but after that project is completed, you will never know which project comes to you. You may get implementation project, you may get support project from your company. Clear? So it's not that permanently you will be in a support, it's not that permanently you will be in implementation. Clear? So it depends on the projects that the company, your employer, is getting. Clear? So duration of the contract. Okay. So here now yourself is a payroll consultant and you are there for supporting the Redis Lab server, Redis Lab implement support and maintenance project. So what do you do in the support and maintenance project? The first activity is you are going to take part in the KT. Okay. First, get the proper KT from the implementation team. It is very generic word. KT is a very generic word. It's not just a SAP word. Okay. Very generic. The KT will be there everywhere. It's not just in a support and maintenance. Suppose in the middle of the implementation, you want to leave this company. You are part of TCS. TCS is implementing Redis Lab. Let's assume now before that implementation, before go live, you are leaving this organization TCS and you are joining some other company. So before you leave, you are responsible to give KT to somebody else. What all you have done? What are the customizations? What is the status of the project? What is that you have done so far? What are the things that are pending? Okay, and what are the things that we need to deal with the customer? All these things you need to properly explain to your successor, whoever is going to take your position there in the project. You need to explain them. So KT is not just a support and maintenance thing. It is everywhere in every project, in every software development. When you are leaving the company, one you are moving from one company to another company, and so far you are responsible for an activity, and you have to give a KT on that activity to somebody else who is going to take that activity. Not only when you are leaving the company, but when you are moving from one project to the other project because of some emergencies or some reasons, you are moving from one project to the other project, and you are leaving this project in the middle. Okay, so your client clearly say, unless I get a right resource, I will not relieve him. Okay, TCS, when the TCS asks the Redis lab to relieve you from the project, okay, unless the TCS provide a right resource to the same role, the Redis lab will not relieve it. So normally this kind of things doesn't make the client happy. Clear? If someone is doing good and all of a sudden he is living in the middle, the client will not feel happy about it. Clear? Okay, so that's why I said right resource. Okay, so this KT is a very common thing in every technology. It will happen when you are leaving from one organization to another organization. It will happen when your assignments are changed. When you are leaving the assignment, okay, in the middle and moving to the new assignment. So for what you have done, you must give a KT. So the KT will be depending on the size of or the scope of the work, scope of your work. The KT can be 2 days or KT can be a week. Okay, the time period for the knowledge transfer can be 2 days or a, or a week. It could be 1 week. So it won't be more than 1 week normally. So during this time, so if you are a support and maintenance consultant, first take all the documents, get all the documents from the implementation consultant. What are those documents? As is blueprint, yesterday I told you to be. Okay, and the configuration document, which is something that we need to prepare. As a function, as an implementation consultant, it is prepared by implementation consultant. It explains the solution that the implementation consultant has provided for every policy. So this will be used as a reference for you. You can use this as a reference to go to that particular part of solution and then fix any issues. Clear? Without this, it might take some time. It's not that it is not possible. You might take some time to go to that particular area of issue, okay, by yourself directly. If this is there, you can directly open this document. Okay, where is this thing configured? So you can directly hit that area and fix the bug. Okay, so configuration document is must. It is the implementation consultant responsibility to prepare a configuration document which explains us the solution provided by him. Okay, and any change request, we're going to discuss about this now. Any change request raised by the customer so far. The list of change requests. Okay, so far. And post live issues are normally needed. After go live, are there any issues that we have fixed during the post live support? During the post live support. So these are the documents, and along with the documents, you should ask him to give you a walkthrough the system. What all that the implementation consultant has done. Ask him to show you. Once you think the proper KT is given, as a support and maintenance consultant, send a mail confirmation to your customer that KT is completed. With this mail, the TCS, which is implementing company, will be paid complete amount of implementation cost. And with this mail, the customer cannot ask for any issue. The customers cannot ask the implementation team. He should approach the support team for any kind of issues. Clear? Okay. So this, after this mail, the AMS is started. The AMS project is started. Actually, AMS project is started from here. So you are responsible. If any issues raised by the customer, there are two things that we handle in this project. There are only two things that we handle in this project. What are those? Anyone?
As a
BAU and
consultant,
CRs.
Yes.
BAU tickets and CRs.
Okay. So during this project, we handle only two things. One is issues, or these issues are considered as the tickets, or they call it as the incidents. Okay, what do you mean by an issue? Suppose if some expected result is not coming, it is not working as expected, or as it is mentioned in the blueprint. Yes, there are certain issues which are, there are certain scenarios which may be missed during the testing, but they are identified here after live. It is the system is not working as it is mentioned in to be blueprint. Okay, or there is a deviation in the calculation, deviation in a net pay calculation. So it is, the net pay is incorrect for the employee, or there is a bug in the pay slip. Okay, payslip display is incorrect. Anything, it can be anything. If anything, any scenario is not working as expected or as it is mentioned, as it is agreed in the blueprint, then it is called incident or issue. Okay, so for this such a issues, the customers raise the tickets or incidents. Okay, so the customer raise a ticket, or we call it as an incident in real time. Okay, using, there is some tools called ticket management tools. It is not a mailbox that we use for ticket handling. There is a ticket management tools, guys. There are many in the market. Okay, there are many ticket management tools in the market. So the customer raises the ticket, okay, using the CRM, not CRM, I mean ticket management tools. Then the ticket comes to the consultant. Ticket is triggered into inbox of consultant. Okay, it is reached to the inbox of the consultant. Now, what is the responsibility of consultant? What is the responsibility of consultant? Look at the
Problem
details
resolving.
of the ticket. Look at details given by the ticket given by the end user on the ticket. So remember this, every incident has a unique identification number, ticket number. We call it as a unique number. So we call it as a ticket number for keeping the track of it, or incident number, guys. Okay, so that incident reaches to your inbox. So what you have to do is look at the details given by the user and understand it, and understand the issue. Okay, if it is not clear, then what do?
We will ask him to provide more details.
Yes, if the details are not clear, then we ask the user, revert the ticket back to user, asking for more details. Okay, asking for more details. So then the customer gives a complete clarity on it. He might give you the screenshot, or he might provide you the demo on the ticket, the issue actually he might show you practically in the system. Once you understand, okay, find out the reason. Find the reason for an issue. So what will be the reasons? Either for any issue, there are two reasons. One reason is either data issue. Data maintained by the user is incorrect. Incorrect. It is called data issue, right? Next one. Another reason for the issue is what? Anyone? Configuration or initial solution design is incorrect, which is not identified during a testing but identified now. Clear? So if the reason is this data issue, so that means solution is correct, but the user maintained the wrong data and he is expecting a right result. So it's not possible, right? So in this case, guide the user to correct the data and rerun the case. Okay, and if it works, close the ticket. Now tell me, what if it is a configuration issue? Anyone?
Need to find the gap in the configuration and need to be fixed, and that has to be tested in the development and unit testing. After that, need to move to the quality system. Then that after approval of the client from the quality system, then it has to be moved to production system.
Okay, so again we need to discuss about the landscape. The same landscape, the landscape system that we used yesterday, we discussed yesterday, the same will be used here as well. That landscape is not just like is not only for implementation, guys. Okay, it is the same landscape will be used as long as the client use SAP system. That landscape will be used as it is. Okay, so if it is a configuration issue, where is the issue raised? The issue raised or identified here. Okay, identified here. So now how do we fix it? How do we fix it? This is where we configure, guys.
In development, sir.
In development, we configure it here and then move it to unit testing client. And then unit testing, you test it from your side as a consultant. Okay, you test it from your side as a consultant. So if you think it is working, it is fixed, then move it to quality environment. Okay, move it to quality environment. So fix it in or correct the solution in development client, and then test it in unit testing client. Sometimes the unit testing and development both will be performed in the same client. Don't be confused. Once it is working fine, move it to quality and send the ticket back to user, asking to test the case and confirm it is working or not. Approve if it works. Clear? Approve if it works. Okay, if it is not working, again the cycle is repeated. Go to the development, again correct it. Okay, again test it, and again move it to the quality, ask the user to. So once user approves it in quality, what is the next step?
Move the changes to production system.
Then move changes to production. Again send the ticket back to the user. Asking to rerun case and see and check. So if it works, then what is it? What does the user has to do?
Need to close the yes, sir.
Close the ticket. Yeah, keep yourself in bed. Close the ticket. Okay, close the ticket. So that's what we need to do as a consultant. Okay, so it's not that we always get a configuration issue. See, if it is generally a configuration issue, mostly multiple employees are affected. If there is an issue with the formula, okay, does it affect only one or many? I've written
Many.
a formula, incorrect formula. Does it affect one employee or multiple employees?
Multiple
Multiple
employees.
employees.
So that is the first point that we need to think. Is it for only one case or multiple cases? So if it is multiple cases, that means most likely this is going to be a config issue. Okay, it's not always, but mostly. If it is happening to only one employee, then you can assume this is going to be a data issue mostly, and verify that from that perspective. Okay, keep that it is going to be a data issue in mind and verify that from that perspective. So when you do that analysis, you will clearly understand whether it is really a data issue or a configuration issue. Okay.
Sir, one doubt,
Yeah.
sir. If any of that query raised by any for one person, we have to note down that one also while we are doing knowledge transfer.
Yeah, we keep the track of all the issues after live. We need to maintain the track of all the issues. What is the issue and who fixed it? Sorry, what is the issue and the reason for the issue? Okay, and the impact of the issue and type of the issue. Okay, the issue raised on so and so date. Okay, the responsible person for the issue, and is it closed or not? You maintain a right Excel sheet with all this information. Clear, you
Okay,
need to
sir.
maintain this information clearly, okay, in an Excel sheet. So you need to hand it over. Of course, the system, the tool that you are using here, ticket management tool, will provide you all these details. But for the discussions, okay, the weekly meetings and for the discussions, you maintain an Excel sheet, the issues that you worked on, okay, for yourself, and for climbing your performance during the appraisal sessions also it will help you. Okay, every issue raised. Clear?
Got it, sir.
Okay, generally the project manager will maintain the track of it. Every week he will raise the issues came to our team and how many are fixed, how many are pending. If there is some issue which is taking a more time, he will focus on that issue and he will start discussing on issue. He'll ask you, do you need any support to fix it? Are you going to fix it? How many days? How many days are you going to take to fix it? So if any issue is going to be delayed, and the manager is responsible to get it fixed, providing some additional help. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to explain you one point here. See this. In this contract, there is something called SLA. The contract, not only the duration, the contract doesn't not only talks about the duration, but also talks about the cost of the support. Okay, and SLA means service level agreements. The service level agreements. Okay, service level agreements. So what is this is what is very important in a support and maintenance project. So what is the service level agreement?
It is
Yeah,
how fast we, depending on the incident or ticket and how fast we need to close. It depends on rating. It is high critical or medium or low. Depending on that one, we need to close based on the service level agreement timings.
so exactly. So here This is the resolution time based on the sensitivity, based on for each priority of the ticket or for each sensitivity or priority of ticket. It's not like if you raise an issue, I'm going to fix it after a week. It is not an agreement. There has to be a clear agreement. Okay, each priority or a sensitivity of the ticket. Okay, priority or a sensitivity of the ticket. So this is like this. Let's say if this is a high priority or low priority, you can take a day or you can take 2 days maximum. Just a random values I'm saying. Medium priority, let's say 4 hours to or 6 hours or 8 hours. If it is a high priority ticket, then they expect the response from 2 hours to like 6 hours. There is something called critical or showstopper. Okay, then immediate response and quick resolution is planned. Okay, see, at least it is not possible to always fix the issues within a 6 hours time. It might take more time. Okay, but the client expect the right response. Okay, and the resolution time updated, informed to the customer properly. See, if it's going to be delayed, you inform the customer. Okay, so this is the reason why it's going to be delayed. So at least give him the estimated time of resolution. Okay, so if you don't give anything, if you don't follow, he will see one ticket, one such a ticket, two or a three. After four, he will escalate it to the management. Okay, saying, okay, so we are not following the proper SLAs, so we are authorized to terminate the support. I mean, support contract. Or sometimes there is a fine defined clearly. If these SLAs are not provided for every aged ticket, means if the ticket is not resolved in within SLA time, these are called aged tickets. For every aged ticket which are not addressed by the functional consultants, the company, the TechM or a consulting company will be fined. Okay, so that's how we need to follow this SLA strictly, service level agreements. So this is a average resolution time for every sensitivity of the priority of the tickets is called SLA. These are clearly defined in the initial contract during a MS project. Okay, so we'll come back to this SLA and how do we trace it. We'll discuss this now. So it's not only the issue. The second thing we handle, yeah,
change request, right, sir?
change request. This is basically CR. We call it as in shortcut CR. So what's the difference between an issue and change request? Anyone?
Issue is a configuration gap, whereas the change request is a new requirement by the customer or modification from the existing configuration.
Okay, all right. So the change request, yes, what he said is correct. see, there is something agreed in the to be document, right? The policies are clearly agreed in the to be document. Okay. Now the business is not constant. The business is dynamic. The policies are dynamically changed. There may be new locations where the business is expanded to. There may be new employee groups. There are new payments introduced in the company. All these are what? These are not issues. These are the change management activities, right? So let's assume the company wants to give a bonus, hard skill bonus, which is not there so far and which is not even there during the implementation. The company is introducing this policy. They want to pay this hard skill bonus to the software professionals who are in a high demand technology. In order to retain them, they pay these bonuses. Okay, so they want to introduce this component in the company. So it's not a bug, or it's not a issue. So it doesn't even exist during the implementation. It is a new policy that the company is going to introduce. So they explain this requirement in a document and send it to the functional consultant. So the users create the CR. They are provided with the templates. Users are provided with the templates. Okay, this is the way you need to give the change request to us. So they explain CR in the CR document and create an incident or a ticket. So ticket means it's not only an issue but also a CR, create a ticket. So a unique number generated, unique ticket ID is generated for keeping the track of it. Now, what is the job of the functional consultant? The functional consultant should study the ticket, study and understand the CR. Okay, understand the CR. And also we need to do the impact analysis. If I make this change, what are the other areas going to be affected? Okay, and then the functional consultant should give estimation, effort estimation. We call it as a effort estimation. Okay, let's say it's going to take for the configuration and testing, unit testing together, let's say it requires 10 hours, and send it back to the customer. Okay, send the estimated hours to the customer. The customer should approve it. Customer or user should approve it. Because he approves it, so these 10 hours are going to be during this agreement. Okay, the charges, hourly rate for every hours spent on CR is also part of this agreement. Okay, so the customer should approve and send it back to consultant. Here the customer might negotiate The customer might negotiate, okay, 10 hours is not okay, make it as 8 hours. I'm going to pay you for 8 hours. Complete this same ticket. There is a bargaining here. Okay, so consultant. Then the consultant start working in development. First, what he needs to do is change to be document. To be document. To be is what? Remember this. Always to be should represent what is there in the system. Or what is there in the system is from the to be document. So without having it in a to be document, you cannot configure anything in the system. First update the to be document with a new version. Always whenever you are making such updates, create a version of the document like version 1.0 or 1.101 like this. You start updating the version documents. Then once we update, configure the change. Where? In DEV. And perform unit testing. Okay, and then send it back to client for quality testing. Give us the approval. Clear? Give us the approval. So once approved, the consultant has to move the changes to where? Production system. Okay, and they send the ticket back to the customer. Client and check the same case. Or a CR. If it works, close it. Close the CR. Okay, so a new ACE type creation or a location creation or new absence type, new payment, new deduction. So anything is going to be a CR. Okay, so the CRs are additionally chargeable to the customer, and these issues are part of project cost, because CRs we cannot estimate the CRs, right? Or we can say that like this, the agreement can be like this: the first 50 hours of change request is free of cost. I'm giving you this value add if you give me this project too, if you give me this project. So that's how the TechM negotiate with this Redis lab. You give me the support and maintenance project, I'll give you the 100 hours of CR is free. After that, I'll charge you. So this is going to be the terms and conditions in the agreement initially between the consulting company and the customer. So these are the two things. So as a consultant, you need to be very, very careful. As a consultant, what we need to target to make a best career in these projects or in the company that you are working in. Okay, you need to target what? Client satisfaction. Client or the customer satisfaction. The customer should be happy with the service that you are providing. Okay, and you should get appreciation mails from the customer, and you need to send them to your managers. There's nothing wrong in it. When you get or you even ask the customer, when the customer is saying orally, that, yeah, I appreciate your work, I really appreciate your work, and you're doing a fantastic job. When they are saying something like this orally, you ask them to put it in a mail, keeping your manager in CC. Yeah, that's how we need to follow this, and we need to showcase ourselves as a better consultant in the team. You need to target the customer satisfaction. So don't just, when the customer says, okay, tell him, don't just say orally, but also send a mail, appreciation mail, keeping CC my manager, so that he will also come to know my performance. So the effort must be recognized. If the customer is happy and you ask him to send a mail, okay, so your effort must be recognized, because, and that's what counts during your appraisal discussion at the end of the year. Clear? Even managers ask you, generally, if the manager is good, he'll ask you, if you are receiving any appreciation mail from the customer, you forward it to me. He himself asks you that. So there is nothing wrong. Even he does the same thing. Clear? Okay. So that mail helps that manager to project himself to his manager. Understood? So that is very important. So what actually uh, counts the customer satisfaction? First, okay, be available always to the customer, which is the most important thing. Okay, so when you are a dedicated resource, you cannot tell your reasons to the customer, right? Any reason is not acceptable during the working hours. So even if you are being available after your scheduled hours of a day, so definitely he'll like you. Okay, so being available means not in front of the system. The moment you receive the ticket, immediately you acknowledge it, saying, okay, I have received the ticket and I understood this, and I'm going to come back to you in some time with a solution, or maybe for asking more details. So you just acknowledge it. Okay, so if you don't acknowledge it, you just receive the ticket and you don't give any response to the customer, so customer does not know whether you really addressed that issue or not. Okay, and you're working on it or not. He does not know what is the progress of the ticket, right? So whenever you receive such an incident, okay, so tell him that I received the ticket, I'll provide you the solution within so and so time. Okay, or if I need any details on the ticket, I'll get back to you again shortly. So that acknowledgement is very important, being available. That is the first thing that makes him happy. The second thing that makes the customer happy is keep the customer updated or informed with the progress of the ticket. So if it is, so initially you said, okay, I'm going to close this ticket by the end of the day. Let's say you may not be able to close the ticket, okay, by the end of the day. Then just either call the customer or send a mail to the customer or send a response using the same CRM tool to the customer saying, okay, so I'm unable to close the ticket for so and so reason. So this is the reason why it is taking more time. You give a right justification to the customer. So you inform him what about the next resolution time. Okay, so keep the customer updated and informed about the progress of the ticket. Clear? Then permanent fix. The issue must not be repeated again in the next cycles. If the same issue is repeated again and again, that means he thinks that earlier you did not fix it properly. That is why you gave me some temporary or workaround solution. It is not a permanent fix, and that's the reason that that issue is coming again and again. He sees 2-3 times. If the same issue is coming again and again, he'll escalate it to the management. Okay, so escalation is very dangerous for our appraisals also. Okay, managers always take that escalations and he points it out. So there are 3-4 escalations during your tenure, and for others there is only one, or somebody else there are no escalations at all. So escalations doesn't give the client satisfaction. When the client is not happy, then only he escalates it, right? So the issue that you fixed, it must be a permanent fix, and issue must not be repeated. Okay, and again, the customer always expects having a good knowledge on the legislation part. Okay, we need to have a clear subject information. It's not like without knowing anything you interact with the customer. You need to have proper knowledge on the customer policies. Okay, having a proper knowledge on this is very, very important. It helps us to fix the issues faster. Okay, the next one, average resolution time. This is not counted for every ticket immediately, but over a period of time, like a 3 months, once in a 3 months, your manager or maybe the customer can, from the customer side, the product manager. Customer side also there is a product manager. He sees how many issues raised in this year, in this quarter. What is the average resolution time you are taking, and what is our SLA? For a high priorities, what is the average resolution time you are taking? For a medium priority, what is the average resolution you are taking? You guys are taking. So they will measure it. They will review it every quarter, maybe in every month. If SLAs are not properly followed, then they'll take it up to the top level management. So make sure the average resolution time for every incident, for every ticket is less. It's not only for the customer satisfaction, but also for your appraisal. In your appraisal discussion with your manager, he opens the total issues that you supported in this year, number of issues, and what are the average resolution times. Okay, and he compares your average resolution time with the team's average resolution time. See, your average resolution time, you are taking 4 hours for a ticket. Somebody else is taking 2 hours for a ticket. Somebody else is taking 1 hour for a ticket. Okay, it's not that you are getting a complex ticket. Managers knows about it because he's monitoring all these tickets for the long time. Which is complex project, which is not a complex project, he will understand. So the average resolution time for both client as well as your manager, it is required. Okay, so you need to avoid escalations. Next, FTR means first time resolutions. Or first attempt resolution. I would call it as a first attempt resolution. Definitely it will make the customer happy. It's not like that you attempt it and send it to the quality, ask the customer to test it. If customer finds one more bug, you are wasting the customer's time. Without understanding this, you are making it, small changes, and you are sending it to the quality, and the quality customer test it, and he rejects it. It come back, okay, to the development. Again, you do the changes. If this ticket is moving back and forth from the development to the customer, Okay, you are wasting the customer time without understanding what is the reason for the issue properly. Without providing a right fix, you are sending it to the quality, asking the customer to test it again and again. Clear? So when you send the ticket, right, to the quality, do the proper testing in the unit testing client. So if it is working, then only move it to the quality environment. Without testing, don't send it to the quality environment, okay, and waste the customer time. And this is not only for the customer, again, it is again your appraisal. When your manager discussing your appraisal, your performance, he will also see how many FTRs are there. The ticket management tool will provide us that information. So particularly when you are working in support and maintenance projects, you need to target this. Okay, and always keep this in mind. There is a solution which is already in place, which is used by the customer. So any of your corrections must not affect the other scenarios in the system. That is very very important. Very, very important. So you need to keep effective date settings, which we will discuss in payroll. Okay, and make sure your correction in the configuration is not affecting the other scenarios. So that's what is called impact analysis. You need to do that impact analysis whenever you are making a configuration correction. Okay, so this is what the support and maintenance priority is. So any questions in this?
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, in a project, how many consultants will be there, sir? Functional consultants?
we cannot measure it. See, it is depending on the complexity and the scope of the module. For example, if the payroll is complex for the customer, one resource will be there. Sometimes one payroll implementation is handled by one senior and one junior. Okay, sometimes if all are module, the scope is small, the project cost is less, then one consultant will be handling the multiple modules like OMPA, time payroll, all will be implemented by one consultant. Okay, so if it is a bigger company like TCS or IBM or a Wipro or these companies, generally they assign if it is implementation, one or two modules maximum to each consultant. So within HR, you require maximum of 3-4 consultants. That's a general ideal case for
Sir,
a complete HR implementation.
and if ticket raised, so all the consultants will getting the same ticket, sir?
No, it depends. There is a responsible team and the responsible member. Responsible team is like a HR consultants. Okay,
Okay,
the responsible member, the consultant is payroll consultant. See, when the customer raising the ticket, he does not know whom to assign this ticket, but he knows the team, right? HR team. He send it to the HR team. Now your manager and everyone in the team receives the ticket. Now you know whether it is relevant to you or not. So you anchor that ticket to your inbox and start working on it. If nobody takes a responsible of ticket, your manager will assign it to the person.
got it, sir. Thanks.
Okay, so the ticket management tool has this, the team member responsible teams and the team members IDs. So when the customer is creating the ticket, he will assign it to the responsible person. Clear? Any questions? That's it for today, guys. Catch you tomorrow. So we'll start working on SAP system. All of you have installed that SAP GUI application.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't give you access to SAP because that is used to connect any SAP server when you are given with the IP address and user ID and password. Clear? Okay, that just will help you to add the server details. So when you install that, you should get this logon pad on your desktop. Is that YouTube video clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you install that, you will get this logon pad. So then when you are buying online access, what you need to do is you need to take these details from that guy. So what is IP address, system number, instance number, and the user ID and password. Okay, I'll show you this tomorrow.
Sir,
See you tomorrow, guys.
sir,
Yeah.
in the application what you sent in that one, we have a 7.40,
Yeah,
and
any
in the
version
YouTube,
will do. Any version will do, no problem.
okay, sir. Thanks.
730 or there is 60, any version. That is not a SAP's version. That is just a SAP GUI version. SAP GUI version is different. SAP version is different. This is a small program. It is not SAP installation. It is like a gate.
Okay, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, sir.